Hello and welcome to another episode of The Missed Q. I'm your host, Jackie, and with me is my other host,
Heidi.
And today we have a very special guest. We have the star of our current production at Grace Arts Live, Annie. We have Ava Benjamin with us today.
Hi.
Hi. We're so glad you're here.
Yes.
And for those listening at home, this is the morning after opening night.
Yeah, so thank you for being here and out of your bed. I appreciate that.
I had a hard time sleeping.
You had a hard time
you?
sleeping?
It was a huge adrenaline jump.
Oh, I bet.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Did you go home and go try to go right to bed or?
Yeah.
And no way.
It didn't work.
You can't. I can't go to sleep right after a show, any show.
No.
So
No.
just have to wind down, have some snacks.
Yeah, just relax a little bit. So Ava, tell our listeners a little bit about you. How old are you? Where do you go to school? And kind of just how did you get into doing theater?
Well, I go to school at Calvary Christian Academy, and I'm 11 years old. I started theater when I was 6 or 5 years old because I wanted to see behind the big black curtain.
Oh, I love that.
What was your first show? What did you do?
I did honk, and I was a duckling.
Yeah.
A duckling. Oh, that's so fun. And then do you take any classes or do anything here at Arizona Coast Performing Arts?
I do jazz and ballet
Nice.
and musical theater.
And musical theater.
Yes. Nice.
So let's talk a little bit about, so Heidi and I both have the honor and the joy of being on stage with you, but let's talk about that whole process from auditions to the show. What was that like? What were auditions for Annie like? Because I know we were
here, and for us, it was pretty crazy. And for the kids, there were a lot of you. There were so many little girls.
There wasn't even enough seats in the room for everyone to sit. Some had to sit on the floor. And it was like a huge trail all the way
Full of
to
kids.
the door.
Yeah.
So what did you sing for your audition? Do you remember?
I sang Maybe because she asked us to sing Annie songs.
Mm-hmm. How did it go? Obviously well, but
Yeah.
yeah. And then did you have a callback?
Yes.
And what did you sing in your callback?
We sang The End of Tomorrow, and we were supposed to do tricks across the floor, and I can't do anything like that. So I just rolled, and I tried going really fast because I just didn't want to be there, rolling on the floor, and she told me to slow down. She told me it wasn't a race.
Oh, well, yeah.
I was just trying to get out of there.
Sure.
Right? You're like, I want to be done. I want to be done right now.
It was fun with the music, but
Yeah.
I don't know how to do anything athletic.
Yeah, the tricks. You were like,
Right.
can I just, what are they, park and bark? Can I just stand and sing?
Please.
How did it feel knowing that there were all of those girls in that audition room and you were the one that got picked to be Annie?
It felt good, but I also kind of felt bad for those.
Aw.
It's because you're such
Yeah.
a kind, compassionate kid. I definitely see that about you.
Oh my gosh, absolutely.
So then you get a script.
Do you start memorizing right away? Because you have a lot of lines.
As soon as I got home, when I went to take a shower, It's a Hard Knock Life was the only thing I listened to.
For the singing in the show, you were doing some lessons with the music director, Carmen Domek, correct?
Yes.
How was that?
It was really nice. She helped me a lot.
What was one of the, is there anything that you take away from your time with her that you, has stuck with you?
Yeah, because Tomorrow was a really scary song for me because it has all those different things.
Yes.
It's a big one.
She really helped me with that.
We love Carmen.
Yes.
We always shout out Carmen on this podcast.
Love you, Carmen.
She's the best.
Right? She is the best.
She's the best.
I know for me in the show, just looking up and seeing her back there, I'm like, okay, it's fine.
Oh my gosh, me too. Two different, Hooverville and NYC. I'm like, am I doing this right? And I look at her and she's like, okay, we're on the music. It's okay. Everything's going to be okay. Just watch Carmen.
And then she helps you time it.
She helps you time it.
Yes.
Yeah, she sure does.
She's great. So, and then you have the joy of working with a dog on stage. And I know you were meeting with our dog Hazy much before rehearsal
way before
started, right?
Yeah, way before Thanksgiving too.
Okay. What was it? What were those meetings like? What did you guys do?
We did tricks with her, so she knows how to sit. She knows how to crawl if you hold her back down, and she knows how to spin and to shake and to stay and to lay down.
Did it take her a long time to get used to you, or was it kind of a quick thing? Nope, it was right away.
She's a big ball of fluff. And she just wants to be loved, and she wants treats.
And you're like, I'll give you treats and I'll love you, and that's all you need.
Yep.
Working with a dog on stage, That's not only is it your first huge role, because this is a pretty huge role, but you get to work with a dog, which is not easy.
No.
But you make it look effortless.
She's like,
You
yeah,
do.
right.
It's so it works so well.
So then rehearsal started with everyone. So you had all that time on your own to work with Carmen and to work with Hazy. Did you do any work with Miss Grace?
A couple times, I think 3 times, but she really helped me with lines. Like, she made note cards with me, and we finished them at home. She helped me run lines one time.
That's very helpful. So then when we came into rehearsals with everyone, you kind of,
Already knew.
You were ready.
you already knew
Yeah.
stuff. You weren't like trying to flip in the script and find things. I mean, you were pretty much off book by the time we
Right.
got to rehearsals.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
amazing.
I know. I was going to say, how long did it take you to memorize your lines? Do you know?
Kind of a long time to get them exact.
Sure.
Because I still can't even really get them exact. I try really hard, but it's not.
Mississippi.
I spelled it wrong.
Oh, no. Last night?
Yeah. I'm dyslexic and I can't spell very well. So that was my least favorite line.
So being dyslexic, that's probably makes
memorizing
learning
lines.
lines extra hard.
Yeah, I still don't know my left from my right.
Wow.
So stage directions, that's hard. Stage right, stage left,
No,
that's
it's the side with stairs and the side with the ramp.
Ah.
Yes.
Okay. I love that.
That's actually genius.
See, and I bet our listeners would have no idea.
Yeah. I should start writing that in my notes because I put stage right, stage left, and I still have to
Go
look at my
like-
hand and go, okay, it's this one. If I just put stairs and
Stairs
ramp, I would
and ramp.
I'd be set.
That's really smart. Okay,
I'm actually going to
listeners at
change the way
home,
I make my cards.
Instead of writing stage left and stage right,
It's
Ava
gonna be
has taught us
stairs and
ramp
ramp.
and stairs.
Yeah. Little S and an R. That's what I'm going to put.
I love. Oh my god, I really do love that. Actually,
No,
Yeah.
no, actually.
I can't tell. People have tried to teach me, and Miss Grace would be like, all right, you need to go left. And I'd be like, and I'd go forward. And she'd be like, go to the right. And I'd just pick one way.
Just guess.
The way that felt better.
Sure.
right? You're like, I made my best choice. And
Was this right?
Maybe it was wrong, but I did my best.
I get it. It's hard.
I know. So thinking about the whole process. So we've done auditions, we've made it to rehearsals. Everyone else is now joining in rehearsals. You have all the other orphans. You have Miss Hannigan, me. You have Daddy Warbucks. You have Grace. Adding in all those other people. Did that make it easier or did it make it harder?
I think it made it easier because when it came to running lines with myself, I usually skipped a lot of the lines.
Sure.
So having to go through all those lines helped me know where I needed to be and what was happening in the scene. Because just reading my lines is like weird because you don't know what's going on.
Yeah.
Right.
You don't get the feel for the scene or how long the
Yeah.
scene is and your timing.
Yeah.
I know. I feel like for some of mine in the show, it's like half the time my line is like, what? Or what for? And I'm like, what?
Memorizing that without
What?
being with other people isn't.
Yeah, it's like having that conversation and being able to know,
Yeah.
oh, I'm telling her to get up and she's going to say yes.
Right.
And then I'm going to say, what do you say? And she's going to say, I love you. Like,
Yeah, because without the extra person, it would be crazy. Like, what are we saying?
right.
Right.
You're like, I'm having a one-sided conversation and it
Very
makes
weird.
no
I'm
sense.
talking to myself.
And then you have all the other orphans with you.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, how's that working? There's a huge group of some awesome kids.
Yeah, they were all really, really nice people, and they are just really, really nice.
Yeah, you guys get along really well.
Yeah, I don't really have time to really talk
Actually,
to them.
that's true.
But it is still fun to hang out with them and to talk to them.
Well, and I think it's nice to be in a show and have there be other kids.
Yeah.
Also, it's such a big cast that if something happens between someone, you can just go and make friends with someone else.
Yeah, that's true.
But
and I
that's-
think
that's
it's
last resort.
Yeah, last resort. But I think that's one thing actually with this cast. Like it is a large cast. There's a lot of kids. But I haven't, maybe I'm just on the outs, but I haven't heard of any big issues. I feel like you guys have been really good at like being kind and friendly, which is so amazing.
Right. Everyone.
Especially with other shows where it's really, really bad with the friendship thing. But this show's been really, really good with it.
Yeah.
Nice.
I think the camaraderie and like that family vibe that the orphans and you kind of have together, I think is just, it's so great to watch because you guys
Yeah.
all encourage each other and cheer each other on. And I think my favorite part is honestly in the beginning when you're singing Maybe and I'm off stage waiting to come in and they're all like laying in their beds and you're saying, it's just like just such a sweet moment because no one else is backstage other than me.
Yeah.
And I'm just watching them all like pretend to sleep. And you're just standing there singing, and I'm like, oh, this is so sweet. And then they all lift their heads and say maybe. I'm like, oh,
Yes.
And then I come yell at you.
And you ruined the moment.
I
Right.
ruined the
The
moment.
sweet moment, and then you got to come in and make it all.
Gotta ruin it, Miss Hannigan.
I know,
Ruin
that's
it.
what I do. What has been, other than the lines, what has been one of the hardest parts of playing Annie?
Mostly the lines.
Just the lines?
It's hard to get them exact.
Yeah.
And with this kind of part, since other people use your cue line, it's
Yeah.
really hard. Because
Gotta
you
get
have
the
to be
cue line.
exact, and you have to get the cue line. Also, sometimes, like with Where Are They? You have to, since what they say is based off your line, you have to be really, really exact.
Yeah.
That's so true.
It's not a show where, especially in your role in particular, it's not a show you can paraphrase.
Yeah.
You can't be like, well, the line is kind of this. It has to be exact.
Yeah, I mean, if it's a cue line, it really has to be exact. There's parts where you can finagle your way through a line if you have to, but not if the person next to you is relying on a specific word, then it really can throw the whole scene off. You have a really tough job.
But you're doing so good
You
at
are.
it.
It's so much fun to do these plays.
Yay.
I love it so much.
What's your favorite part about this show? Like the whole experience. What has been your favorite thing? Or favorite things if there's more than one?
Probably the dog. That was a lot of fun because I thought it was just going to be the big, like, dog head from Peter Pan. So I was like, aw, because I was really hoping for, like, an actual dog, and then there's an actual dog.
Oh, yes.
Hey. Yes, always an actual dog. Well, when we can.
Right. When we can, we sure do. We have 2 dogs and a baby in this show.
Oh, yeah.
Yes,
We have
2
the
dogs
variety
and a baby.
of
Yes.
things.
Of challenging
Of challenge.
things.
Yes.
Yes.
Happy little theater challenges.
What's your favorite song in the show? And it doesn't have to be one you sing. What's your favorite song?
Either Maybe or I Fully Dressed.
Ooh.
Both Orphans and the actual Fully Dressed.
Oh, okay, good
Both versions.
choices.
Okay. Yeah. That's the one that's always in my head. And
I
I'm
know.
not in that scene, either of those
No.
scenes, but always in my head.
I'm in one of them.
Yes. The orphan version of that is really adorable. I mean, I love, of course, the radio station is great and everyone in there
But
is
the orphan
killing it.
one
But the
is-
orphans are so
Because they have the
cute.
little hats and,
And their boas.
Oh, one time my mom was trying to describe who you were, and she forgot your name, so she just went like with her leg doing this because she was trying to say Miss Hannigan, but couldn't say Miss Hannigan because she didn't remember your name. So she just went,
With the leg.
"Yep,
Yeah.
yes,
Why? Because I like put my leg on the desk or something?
yeah," because that's the kind of stuff you do in the movie. And she was trying to say
Sure is,
Miss
sure is.
Hannigan, but she couldn't remember, so she just did.
Yep, just did that with
So
the
now
leg.
whenever we say Miss Hannigan, it has to be with
It
the
has to
leg.
be
You
with-
can't just say Miss Hannigan. You have to be
It has to be
Miss
with the leg.
Hannigan.
Miss Hannigan. Okay, I'm gonna do it from now on. And I'm just gonna go up to your mom and be like, "Hey, I'm Miss Hannigan."
Hannigan.
That's
I'm Miss
amazing.
Hannigan, in case you don't know. In case you forgot, I'm Miss
Hannigan.
Hannigan.
Well, I was laughing the other day. One of the orphans, and I don't even remember which one. A lot of them actually, they just call me Miss Hannigan.
Oh.
They don't know your name?
because they don't know my real name, which is fine.
Right.
Half of them know me as Miss Murphy. The other half know me as Jackie, and then the rest of them are just like Miss
Miss
Hannigan.
Hannigan.
And then one of them, I think it was Austin, came up to me last
Oh,
night
yeah.
and goes,
She's like,
like Jackie, and I was like, "You know my name?" She goes, "Yeah, I heard someone else say it." I was like,
Oh.
she was in my mom's class.
"Oh, that's so cute." I was like, "You could have asked. I would have told you my name."
Right?
I answer to all things, though. It's fine. Is there anyone that has, or anyone that you want to like give a shout out to or thank them now that we're going to broadcast this?
Well, Miss Grace and Miss Kaya. She helps me backstage with quick changes.
Oh, you have
she-
some quick
Miss
changes.
Kaya is amazing. She helped me last show. She's like a godsend. Oh my gosh.
Oh, yeah. And Miss Allie, because she helps me put on my wig when
Yeah.
I'm doing
yes.
that. And Andrea, she's been my friend.
Oh, yay. It's so fun to do a show with your friend, huh?
Yeah.
I love that.
And
So-
then,
And
go ahead.
Sandy.
Oh, and Sandy.
Oh, well,
Hazy.
Hazy,
Hazy.
of course.
Yep.
Speaking of the quick changes, how is that for you?
Zoom in on her face, please.
We've all experienced quick changes, but
But-
you have,
I have like 5 seconds.
yes,
And it's not even like I just have to put on a dress. I have to change a wig,
correct.
which is really, really hard.
Right.
Especially because it needs to be pinned down because I'm doing a big dance. And I'm not good at dancing. I'm not good. That's why I'm standing on a bed and it's a hard knock life.
So you're changing your wig. You're changing your dress. Do you have to change your shoes too?
Yeah, no.
Okay, phew. So at least it's just the dress and the
Yeah.
wig.
Um,
Imagine if it was shoes too.
I wouldn't make it. I'd make it with one shoe on and one shoe off.
Which kind of
Different
is fitting
socks.
for an orphan. I mean,
I know, but I'm supposed to be gussied up.
oh,
right.
right.
When
Gussy,
you
you're
get
up.
That one, that
Gussy,
one's really
you're up.
Yes,
I
we
think
could
the
guess you
rest
up.
are okay because it's just the change of like putting my hair back in a bow or just changing dress and shoes. And
Sure.
I always have Easy Street for my first change, so it's not that bad. But when it comes to the red dress,
I was gonna say-
dress change.
Is
Yeah.
that one your hardest quick change? So when you, I can't explain how I felt. Well, I can explain how I felt, but how everyone else felt when you made it on. You and Daddy Warbucks made it perfectly timed in the red dress and the suit last night. Perfect. I was like, she's here.
I know. I wondered. I was like, are they going to
We were
make it?
all holding our breath. Like, it's the biggest and quickest change in the whole
And
show. And
it's
it's the
like-
best part. You come out in the
know.
iconic red dress. And I was like, and then you were there, both of you on time.
And when you think of Annie, you think of those two outfits.
You do.
You don't think of the radio station outfit or the teal dress.
Nope,
You
you
think,
think of the red dress.
dress.
Uh-huh. And the fact that, like, for the first time to ever, it was perfectly timed
Well,
and you both made it on
Right.
stage.
We
like-
haven't, it hasn't happened yet.
Oh,
So
no,
it happened
it's
opening
been-
night.
It's been like I made it on.
Yeah.
And then he didn't make it on, and then he didn't make it on, but I made it on with my wig half on and half off, and with this little belt thing off. It
Yes.
wasn't there. It was hanging down.
On Thursday, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
So that's what I kept thinking. Like, well, we still haven't made it. How's it going to go opening night?
We did it.
we did it. Yay.
It was very exciting. I was like, they're here.
Quick changes are the scariest but most exhilarating thing in the
Yes.
world.
Because you're not expecting like a change to happen that fast.
Well,
you're
yeah.
expecting like Easy Street happens, then a new outfit, but
Right.
the same song.
In the
Right.
same song.
In the same song. And I don't think the people in the audience, like, again, we've talked about this before on our show, like what the chaos that happens backstage.
Yeah, they
Like,
don't
chaos.
know.
You're running. Are you going up the ramp or up the stairs?
She's on the ramp.
Ramp.
So you're going up the ramp, changing.
No, she does. She goes
I
to
know.
the.
I have to take
She
off,
goes just outside.
Oh my god.
I have to take off some bobby pins before, and like when I run off and say, "Where are all the people, Miss Farrell?" I have to take off some bobby pins, so I'm like turning my head like this so that it doesn't go. Whew.
Oh my god.
I'm like,
You're like, the wig's not gonna fall. It's fine.
Yep.
And then
And
you're
then-
doing the quick change. You're hoping that your mic is muted so that the audience isn't hearing you during the quick change.
Yes, but you never know, so you have to be as silent as you can.
There's a lot of factors going on at once.
And there's other, especially that scene.
Other
There's a
people.
lot of other people because
All the
we're all the
orphans,
orphans are waiting right there. She's changing. We bring her off stage, and then the stage and I go and quickly grab our presents, and we're going to go back on, and it's terrifying.
Right.
oh, and another thing is I keep forgetting to preset my suitcase, or it just like doesn't happen. So I have to run up the ramp and grab my suitcase. But then Kaya, not her, it's mostly me. But I forget to get the pink jacket. So one time I made it backstage with time to spare, and I was like hoping she'd come in, but we didn't make it because she thought it was only in one scene. But that was our first ever costume change.
Oh,
and she thought it was in one scene, and it was not.
It was in multiple.
It was in multiple. So I didn't have a pink jacket.
Well, I know Thursday night I watched you sprint up the ramp to get the suitcase, and I was standing there at the bottom of the ramp like, why isn't that preset for her? So last night I was like, I think it's this one. And I grabbed it and I was holding it down there, and Kyla goes, oh, I told her I would get it for her tonight. And I was like, okay, I just didn't want to see that poor girl sprinting up the ramp.
Yeah, and also since all the orphans are in a line like
Yeah.
this way, I can't grab the pink coat myself, so
Oh,
I
right.
just have to run. And I'm really scared at missing cues, so sometimes I don't even go into crawls. I just wait outside.
Well, I know. I think last night it worked nicely. She had the pink coat for you and the suitcase,
And
and,
the
she was
suitcase.
right there.
And she just put it on.
And
I
honestly,
can
she
just
could
go.
even come down and stand like where I'm standing at the bottom, because there's more room there, and then you don't have to go with all the orphans.
Yeah.
Maybe just to make that a little faster for you. We'll see. We'll see what happens tonight, because we get to do it all again tonight.
So speaking of all of that and the exciting first show, how was opening night for you personally?
It was really good, except I was really, really nervous because I walked up the aisle and saw Miss Grace, and she was just watching it, like,
Oh yeah.
but it was still like, because during Hooverville we missed a bunch of our lines, but it still went good. Like, we were able to still save
We
it,
still
but-
told the story.
Yeah,
Right.
So we did.
We just didn't eat. We were just hungry.
We were very.
We just went on an empty
We were
belly.
so hungry.
there was
she
no
didn't
food.
feed
There
There
us.
was no, of the like circle, which means a bunch of my lines were also dropped.
Yes. So one line was we all tried to figure it out, but one line was missed, which caused the domino effect of all these other lines
Yes.
not happening. And
I
since
think
we
it was-
didn't eat,
It was who was like, and then he was like, "Oh yeah, no offense, but He was
okay.
like,
We might edit that out.
He was like, oh, okay. He was like, oh, that's my line. But Sophie had jumped in.
Yeah.
She was trying to save the scene.
Yes, she tried.
Good job.
Right.
But because otherwise the scene would have carried on for a really long time.
Right. Well,
Right,
and
well, it
honestly,
had to just.
right. At the end of the day, you told the story. You moved the plot forward.
Right.
Sometimes
We just
lines
weren't
get
hungry.
missed,
We were just
and you
hungry.
just were just super
And listen,
hungry. It's
everyone in
fine.
the audience had no idea unless they had been to dress rehearsal or know the show
Or read the
super
script,
well.
yeah.
So pretty much just us. Like no one else knew.
So no one ate the Herbie water.
We did not. No, we didn't get to.
So hungry.
I didn't get
That's
to eat
so
from my
sad.
can.
How has this show been for you, like physically? Like I know it's been a lot mentally with all of the lines and all of the songs, but physically, is this show challenging for you, or are you hurt or sore ever?
Well, during choreographing of It's a Hard Knock Life, my back was really, really bad to the point where I had to go to the chiropractor twice.
Oh no!
And I had to get massages, which were really painful.
Ooh.
And so we had to do that, and I was wearing a back brace during it.
Oh really?
And I was doing all that stuff. It was probably that why I had to not be dancing, but also I was 1 beat behind everyone. Not 1 beat. I was like 5 beats behind everyone.
You're like,
Girl,
I
I get
fully
They were
admit.
lifting their buckets, and I would be like, oh, and then lift my bucket.
You're talking to two non-dancers.
Yeah,
like we
you're-
understand.
Girl, you're good.
And
I
then when
get
they
it.
gave us the choreograph for the Donnie Warbucks thing, I was like, because I'm standing there like, it's great, everything's great.
It looks really good though.
It's honestly-
'cause I'm standing there.
I sneak out to the house to watch that one.
Oh, you
I go
do?
in the lobby to watch. What is it?
I don't need anything.
I don't need anything but
that one.
Yes.
That one. Yes. Because I have so much time in Act 2.
Yeah.
My Act 1's my busy one. So in Act 2, I usually am like waiting for an entrance or whatever. And so I always like, last night I snuck out and watched it. It's just so
Yeah, it's
cute.
so cute. Watching you two together.
Like, oh, I love it.
Yes.
And we had almost a full house last night.
Oh my gosh, it was yeah. We
I
had
think there was like
such a-
20 seats unsold.
Yeah, I think that's what
Well, and
I think said. That was
some of them
before.
sold at that was before. So at the door they sold more.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. I didn't know they did that.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
they sure do.
And then we have 2 more weekends of it. Is there any, like, I just know that mom and dad probably at home have done a lot to support you with this.
Well, we had a trip to the North Pole, like the
Ooh.
Polar Express, not the Polar Express. And we had to come home early, like the day of. We had to do dog training, then we had to go up, and we like ate food, and then we did the Polar Express, then we had to leave. And that was hard because we all wanted to stay in Williams because Williams is so fun. But we couldn't do that, and I got my dad to cry.
Oh,
You did?
He's cried 4 times in his life.
Oh, and you got him to cry.
I made him cry twice. I mean, 2 times. In his entire lifetime, I've got him to cry twice
Oh my gosh, what was the first one?
when I was born.
And then the second one was you on stage last night?
Yep.
Oh,
And
okay.
he's only really cried 4 times. Like, he cried, like, when his or someone special to him died.
Sure.
And then he cried when I was born. And then he cried some other time. And tonight.
And then last night with you.
Okay, can we talk about your parents during the show last night really quick? Because I'll
Front row center?
try not to cry right now. But they
row
were
center.
your well, I had not met your dad, so I know your mom, but obviously that was the 2 of them sitting
He's
there.
like a big teddy bear.
front row
He's like there,
center.
like-
and
He sits there like that, and he looks like he's ready to punch you, but he's so nice.
My
He's
gosh.
like the type of person like, oh, you don't have shoes? Here, have some of mine.
Oh.
One time he came home barefoot because he had given his shoes to someone.
seriously?
Yeah.
Oh my
and
God.
My mom was like, "Where's your shoes?" And he's like, "I gave them away."
Oh.
He's the best.
I love
I love
that.
him so much.
What a sweet guy. And then to sit there and cry at you. So I was trying, well, unsuccessfully to not cry last night, but I made the mistake of looking at your mom at like 2 different times when just watching her watch you when you come out on stage. And I made it okay the first time, but then in the very end, when you're dancing with, you come out obviously in the red, and I just looked at her face, and I'm like, okay, keep it together, and then I can feel the tears. I'm like, don't cry, I can't. I'm in my position. I'm
can't be
a
like-
maid. I have to
Right,
stay.
you're
I'm
like-
just watching you and supposed to be happy for you, but not crying. And I'm like, Don't look at her mom. Don't
Happy
look at her mom.
tears.
And I'm just, your mom was the look on her face, the amount of pride and she has in you. I was like, my
and then
mama heart.
she just told us today before we started filming that she hadn't been in any of the rehearsals, so she hadn't seen any of the stuff. So last night
No,
was
with
the
the first
first time.
time.
So she didn't know if I do my lines because she helped me practice sometimes, but not very much because I did it myself, and so she didn't really know if I knew my lines. She doesn't really know, but I told her I did because I did.
Right.
So she didn't even really know if I was gonna do it. So she was like,
Right? Like sitting there like probably
I'm
like
nervous for
she
you, but
brought
then
tissues
so
in her
happy
purse.
for you. Oh, well,
she needed them.
She was sitting.
Well, she
there
was
like,
crying when she walked up to the theater.
What?
Yes.
Yeah.
She walked
She
backstage
was?
and talked to, she was already crying. We're like, don't cry yet. You got to wait and see it.
She's like, I'm just so proud of her. I was like, I know, we are too.
no, like in Bows, again, I went back to look at her. I just couldn't help
she's
it. And she
screaming.
was
Screaming.
the screaming and the look on her face. And I was like, well, it's too late now. And just the tear, I walk off stage and apparently all the maids were doing the same. We're also watching her, all the teens on the other side. And they're crying. Ava Nelson is like, I'm not okay. I'm like, were you looking at her mom? She's like, I was.
Well, because we all know that feeling
made
of like being
teenagers
proud of
Yes,
someone. Yeah.
she made teenagers cry.
Wow.
Yeah, all of them, the whole group. And then us adults on the other side as well.
Oh, and I made Mr. Chris cry.
Oh, that's good.
Yes.
He told me the last Danny made me cry. Can you do it?
Can you do it?
That gave you a challenge.
Yep.
Did it.
And I did it.
Yes. Good job, Ava.
Yay! Mission accomplished.
Yes.
Yes.
Is there anyone that you're super excited that's coming to see the show? Like, are you excited for anyone in particular to see it?
Ooh, okay. So there's two people. So my great grandma Humple, she's like my great grandma, and she lives in Baltimore, Maryland, and she doesn't really leave often because she was busy taking care of her husband who had dementia, who recently passed away. But she was busy taking care of him, so she never really came down. And when she did, it was like 2 days.
Right.
She's coming down for Christmas for like a week, and she's getting to go watch my play.
Yay. Okay, another day where we'll
Aw.
cry.
Don't point her out to me. I can't look at her face while I'm on stage. I'll cry again.
And also my Grammy, who is something really, I'm pretty sure she's coming, but she's someone really special to me because she also lives in Northern California, and so she lives really, really far away. She's super, super nice, and I don't really know how to explain to her, but she like loves the beach, and she's so nice.
And she's willing to come support you and see you on
Yeah.
stage, see your big moment. Yay.
Right now, we think she's coming.
Okay,
Very
good. Well, we hope that, and if she's not, maybe listening to this podcast will encourage her to come.
Yes.
If not. I just have to say, officially, we're recording and being videotaped. I feel so bad being so mean to you, especially because I throw you to the ground
Yeah.
twice.
One
It's
time,
true.
I fell on my arm, but that was my fault because I needed to take control of it. Don't feel bad because it was my fault. I should have moved, but I didn't, and I.
Well,
fell on my arm.
it's a whole skill is learning how
Yeah.
to fall without
Safely.
hurting yourself. I mean, even me, when there's that one part where I go down to my knees to like beg Mr.
Yes.
Warbucks, I looked at my knees yesterday and I was like, my knees are like black and blue. Like, what is happening? I'm just going to my
Yes.
because I wasn't controlling it. But I just had to say, for the record, I feel bad being mean to you because you're such a sweet, nice girl, and it's so not in my nature to be mean. But
Yeah, weren't you like a teacher? And
yeah, I taught first and second grade for a very long time.
Okay, so
Yeah, and actually, some of the orphans I had in my class.
really, like who?
I had Dylan and
Really?
Caden and Kaylin,
Oh,
and and
Yeah,
Carly.
Kaylin.
the same grade.
So I had Caden and Kaylin for 2 years. I had them for
Yeah.
first and second grade.
Ooh, I had one of those teachers.
I loved looping with them, and then I had Carly in second grade, and Dylan I had in first grade. So I think
And we've had them all in theater club at Jamaica.
yeah, and they've been in theater club at Jamaica. So it's like having them in that situation, and them now being on stage with them is just so fun.
Oh,
I'm like, I love it.
and you get to be mean to them for all the times they were misbehaving in class.
Exactly.
Maybe.
Those girls don't misbehave.
No, those are always the good
They are
girls.
the-
But sometimes, you think about the kids in class that might have been naughty. It might inspire some of the Miss Hannigan
Yes.
things. I mean, maybe.
Maybe just a little.
Not the throwing the kids to the ground, because
no.
that's
Yeah,
real violent.
No.
That's
I don't like it.
that's not what teachers do.
I mean, honestly, for me, I think the hardest thing between it's either A, throwing you to the ground, or B, the baby.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
was just going
calling
to say,
her a
what about
brat.
yelling at the sweet baby?
I can call a baby a brat, but I can't call a dog a brat.
Well, yeah.
Dogs are.
Right.
Well, and it's like when she cries,
crying.
and I literally have to look at her like big teary eyes and tell her to shut up. I'm like, no. But it helps. So on Thursday, Grace was like, just hold her close to you.
So you're not looking at her face.
So I'm not looking at her face. And I said, you little brat. So I did that last night. Put her face to the audience and said, you little brat. And I hear someone in like the first or second row, and they're like, "Oh my God, look at her face!" And I was like,
So cute.
I'm pretty sure those were her parents because
Were they?
I saw her, Austin's two sisters and her mom, and I'm pretty sure her dad.
"Yeah, I think they were
yeah, they
right
were-
about there." Yeah.
Yeah.
So and then it was like, and then she got that huge applause. I'm like, "Baby's first applause!"
Yes, dude, that girl is selling it,
She's
man.
going places.
She's stealing
She's
the
going.
show.
Hey, one day she could be the grown-up Annie.
Oh,
Wouldn't that be
would
such a cool
so
story?
sweet. Yes, that would be so cool.
Okay, so thinking about, I know you have some like knowledge of musical theater and other shows, right? Mm-hmm. Okay, do you have like a favorite show that you like to listen to?
Well, not really. There's never been a show that I really, really missed, especially because sometimes the shows are really, really hard, like Diary of a Wimpy Kid. It was really hard. So I wasn't like really, really, really sad to walk away from it, but
Yeah.
because it was so hard.
Yeah.
And it was just really
There was a lot in that
Oh,
show.
yeah.
Yeah.
So, but probably one of my favorites was Susical or James and the Giant Peach.
Ooh,
Oh,
those
yes,
are
I
both
love
good
both of those.
choices.
Great shows.
Is there any show, like, do you listen to music at home? Is there any show that you listen to a lot?
Well, Annie.
Annie.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, obviously. Annie.
Well, when you're not listening to Annie,
I don't really listen to music that
No?
much. Because I don't really know why, but I don't really listen to music that much. Other than when I'm like in the car.
Yeah, in the
Sure.
car.
Yeah.
Yeah.
and then when you're in a show, do you listen to
Oh,
the
well,
songs
yeah.
from the show? Yeah.
Yeah.
Are there any roles, like, thinking of, as you now start continuing in theater, is there any, like, a dream role that you're like, one day I would love to be this character in something?
Matilda.
Ooh.
Oh, yes.
That would be fun.
That's a great role.
I do love Matilda.
I know. I really want the show to be in Grace Arts again. Even if I'm not even in the show, I just love the show.
I
so
love
much.
I know.
that show.
It's such a good show. A good story, good music.
Oh, okay. Well, the Matilda music I probably listen to a lot because I watched the movie so many times. Especially when the Netflix one came out, I watched that
The
so
new
many
one?
times. So many times.
Yes.
love that. No, I love
Yes,
Matilda.
same. Matilda's so good. Oh, Miss Honey, dream role.
Oh, I know. Love Miss Honey.
Love Miss Honey. Oh my God, that would be such a funny turn of events.
Yep. Miss Hannigan becomes.
Miss Hannigan becomes Miss Honey, and Annie becomes.
Quite a different character.
Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness.
Oh my goodness.
Oh my goodness! Oh my goodness!
She's so cute. I love that
So
girl.
cute.
I'm always like, get down on your knobby little knees. And I'm like, sorry.
Well, they all know it's acting.
I
so
know.
It's better than if it were like they didn't know what was going on. They were like, huh?
I know.
Then it would be kind of like a.
Oh my gosh. This might be my new favorite thing, and I think it's going to have to happen every night just because of superstition. But last night, as the overture was playing, all the orphans are in their beds, and the only people backstage are Ava across stage.
Oh, and
She's
they
on
were
the
like.
she's on the ramp side.
Yep.
I'm on the
Ramp
stair
side.
side.
Got it.
Kids are all in their bed.
Picture.
And I was blowing kisses to
And you
them.
were like, hello,
and they were blowing kisses
heart.
back to me. And I was doing hearts and they were doing hearts to me. And then I was like, no, get in your bed.
Okay, yep, that has to be.
So I
every
think
day.
every night
That's
now
very
we're going to
sweet.
have to do like, I mean, it was silent. There was no words, but we were literally
words
all just
spoken.
like,
No words spoken.
but they just knew. And then they all laid in their beds. And I was like, oh, okay, every night we have to do that.
At least they know you love them.
I do love them before.
I love you before I'm going to yell at you.
I'm going to yell at you.
Yeah,
That's very
I love
sweet.
you, but I'm gonna yell at you.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, in the lobby, Jake and I are trying to keep sweet baby Annie from screaming her head off before we walk on stage and we get her calm after I just rip her from her own mother's arms.
Right.
I don't. I take her very gently, but it feels like we are just doing this poor baby girl.
I know, because she loves her mom.
Of course. And I'm like, here you go.
And then you leave her on stage.
And leave her.
Oh.
Yeah, so that's our experience
So
before the show. So we take her from her mother, and then she's, of course, immediately sad. So then all we're trying to do is just cheer her up. So Jake and I are making the goofiest faces you've ever seen in your life. Yeah. And then dancing with her and anything in the world I can do to get her not to cry until she's supposed to cry, which she does.
Yes.
And so do I.
You should feed her Cheerios.
Oh.
She doesn't eat any foods yet, so we cannot.
Darn.
Cheerios would have made her much more cheery.
Cheerios.
Cheerios.
Make her cheery.
Love that.
That's amazing.
Yes.
Ava, do you have any advice for any young kid who wants to get into theater or do shows but might be a little nervous? Because I know there's auditions coming up for some shows, and then there's the workshops in the summer. Do you have any advice for them?
Start with the workshops. Then if you really, really like it, work your way up, but be prepared for late nights, not having a social life. And on weekends, they're not your weekends anymore.
Your weekends belong to the theater.
Yep.
Well, yeah.
Your Friday, Saturday, and
Sunday
afternoon are gone.
They're gone.
And most of your free time to study your script and stuff.
And Mondays and Wednesdays.
Okay, we're making it sound really exciting.
Oh, but it is so much fun. Once you get it all down, it's so much fun.
Yes, but that feeling when you walk on stage for the first time.
It's the best.
And the audience is there for the first time,
Oh
that there's an
my gosh.
audience watching it. Because everything we do, we think we're doing great. We think people like it. We don't really know. It's just our crew watching us. And then the first time the audience reacts, that's always
You're like, oh, that line is funny.
that is
it's
funny.
It's funny?
Oh.
I've been reading it like it's
You're
not
like,
funny.
oh,
I'm like,
weird.
oh, okay.
I'm like, oh, they laughed at that. Are they supposed to laugh
Okay,
at
they
that?
like this. All right.
And then it's like, oh, they like me.
Right.
Right? You're like, me?
They like me?
Are they clapping for me?
Me?
Yes.
I think that is great advice. I mean, in all honesty, and I think also, and I think you could agree with this, Ava, but like you have to be willing to know that you might not do something right.
Yeah.
And you might get
Willing
told,
to make mistakes.
You
like,
might get told
that was wrong.
That was wrong. Fix it right now.
and you just have to look and go, okay, thank you.
I
love that we just did that in unison.
Well, that's what Miss Grace says we do.
That is what Miss Grace
You take
tells
your
us
note,
to do.
you say thank you.
Yep.
Because notes are just there to make us better and to make the show better.
Correct.
Yeah.
As scary as they might be when you hear Miss
They are.
Grace say your
Especially
name.
especially if you miss a cue and you have to stand up and say, "There's no excuse for a missed or late cue." Then it's like,
I mean, that's why we started this podcast,
Right.
in all honesty. Because we always ask people if they've ever missed a cue. So, Ava, I have to ask you.
Have you
In your few years of doing theater, have you ever missed a cue?
I've missed not really ever like a big one, but in James and the Giant Peach, I missed the money scene because I went to go get money.
Oh,
Went to get your prop.
Yep. I didn't even need the prop. Most people didn't even have it.
Oh, my gosh. And you missed the scene altogether.
Yep.
You had to make your best
Okay,
choice.
so I went down the ramp, and when we came on stage, I wasn't there. But then the second time, I was there. Like when they go off stage and then like they come back on,
Yeah.
I was there.
Oh, okay,
so you made it
came in-
eventually.
you made your best choice and came
Yeah.
in when appropriate.
Yes.
Yeah.
Which is
I think
great.
that's great.
Absolutely.
I love that as like you already have a Miss Q story. I didn't think you would.
I know. I didn't
Well,
either.
How perfect.
It was I never had a bunch, or I don't really have a bunch, but I do have a couple. And in Finding Nemo, when we had to do a full-on costume change, like while running down the thing, I never missed it, but during dress rehearsals, I missed it, and
Oh, yes.
I felt so bad.
That's why we do 2 dress rehearsals.
Yeah. Because and you never
And both
know.
times I missed it.
Yeah, you never know if that costume
then-
is going to go on
Yeah.
or get changed.
Do you have time to go to the trailer or cause? Do you have time? Do you have to do it on the ramp? Where do you
But
change?
but as soon as the show started, I was able to make it.
Oh,
and,
good.
And someone lost one of their little ribbon things, so you had to preset that ribbon like before the show even is in the abyss. You have to start it. You have to get that thing. And sometimes people, if they just saw it, they'd take it.
Oh,
So
yeah.
I would like put so many bobby pins on it so that if you take my ribbon and I see you with my ribbon,
I know
I'm gonna
it's
be
mine.
angry,
Yes,
right? I'm gonna
that's
be angry.
mine.
That's my ribbon.
My ribbon.
You took my ribbon. Give it
and
back.
I put it there on purpose so I would know where it was. That's a smart trick.
People
Okay,
would
good.
like hide it in different various places so that people wouldn't take them, because some people wouldn't preset them, and then when they're getting changed, they're like, oh, I need a ribbon, and they'll just be like, oh, there's a ribbon, that's mine.
Oh, I remember being backstage and I'd see like random, and I was like, and someone's like, oh, I preset it there, and I'm like, that's the most random place, and they're like,
Yes.
I know, but it's the only place no one takes it, and I'm like,
If you see things back, you just have to leave all the things you see because someone put it there for a reason.
Yeah.
well, Ava, we are so happy that you came and we're on our podcast, and I know I'm going to say we because I know Heidi agrees with me, but we are so proud of you for all of the work you have put in and the amazing way you are portraying this role on stage.
I love watching you every night. I get to stand there and just watch you perform on stage with you.
And I know for me, I'm like, oh my gosh, there's scenes. We have so many scenes together. And there's times where I'm like, oh, I hope I say the right line. But honestly, I know that if I don't, you and I are going to figure it out.
Yeah.
Right.
It might be a little scary for a second, but we usually get through it. Because last night there was a scary moment and we moved past it and it was fine.
I was sitting there like, okay, just go with it. Go with it. Roll
You
with
have
it.
to
I was like, what are we? We're just going to say something else. But I'm not going to make a face. No one's going to know.
make your best choice and don't show them on your face that you messed
I
up.
was hoping Miss Grace Farrell would laugh, like if I
Yes.
said Mississippi. She didn't.
No,
So
I don't even
maybe
think
she
she noticed.
Well, my dad, once I got home, I was like, I spelled Mississippi wrong, and he's like, you did? Because he's
See,
also
I don't
dyslexic.
even know if most people would
He's
know
also
it.
dyslexic, so he was like,
Oh,
"Wait,
gosh.
you spelled it wrong?" I
Oh,
was like, yeah. I spelled it with like two
You had like an extra P in there. Yeah.
I.
Yeah.
I had an extra one.
it's fine.
But I think ultimately at the end of the day,
It was so
they're
funny, though.
yeah, it's funny, and they're just watching you up on stage
No one
doing
cares.
stuff that no one else could probably do.
Right.
I mean, be proud of that and know that mistakes will happen. Your wig will get put on wrong. Your costume might not get all the way on. You might miss a line. You might sing the wrong lyrics in a song.
Oh, I did that last
And no one's gonna know.
No one's gonna know, especially if you don't let them know.
Yeah, and everyone's still just gonna be so proud of you. And years from now, you'll be able to look back on this and be like, oh my gosh, I was Annie.
Yes.
And I did a good job.
I'm so. I love Jasmine. Thank you. I can't. But, that sounds really bad. But I love getting to play this role. It's a lot of fun, and I really hope everyone can come do theater and realize how much fun it is.
Yeah, because I feel like I'm sure you have used things you've learned in theater in your real life outside of theater.
How to fold clothes.
Oh,
Hang up your clothes.
Yeah.
yeah, that's a big one.
Yeah.
Well, amazing. So we have, by the time this episode airs, we will have finished our first weekend.
But
But
two
there
more
are still
weekends.
2 more weekends. But tickets are going fast. So
Yes.
get your tickets at Grace Arts Live.
Last night there were only like 20 seats left.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yep.
so get those tickets. Oh, and I forgot, if they bring some dog food to the theater.
I was like, oh, but then I missed it.
Ava, do you want to tell them about that? If they bring dog food to the theater?
So, if you bring this specific brand of dog food, what brand?
I think
Pedigree.
it's Pedigree.
Yeah. So if you bring Pedigree dog food, you get a little raffle ticket to win this basket,
Awesome
and it's like filled with dog
Dog-
stuff.
yeah.
So like dog treats and dog toys, and so yeah. If
And
you
it goes
bring-
to the Humane Society.
yes, and the more dog food you bring, the more tickets you get, and it goes to the Humane Society.
That's
and you can
amazing.
bring wet or dry food.
Yes.
But yeah, so Ava, amazing. Have
Yes.
people bring dog food, have them buy their tickets.
Oh, and sorry, instead of bringing flowers, you should bring a bag of dog food.
Oh,
Because
see?
you know how you can spend like $30 on a thing of flowers?
Buy some dog
Why not buy some dog food? It's for better use because the flowers are just going to sit on the table and die eventually.
Exactly.
So just bring some dog food because it's going to give a doggy a full tummy.
So you heard it here first from Annie herself.
Yes.
Do not bring flowers to the show.
Bring
Bring,
dog food.
some Pedigree dog food. And Miss Vesley's going to cry right now.
I
can
am
already
gonna
tell. I like how I just called you Miss Vesley.
Yeah, that's weird.
Heidi's
We're not
gonna
in
cry.
school.
Sorry. I just gonna cry.
So
So
sweet.
you heard it from Ava. Bring dog food. She loves you all and does not want flowers. She wants dog food for the dogs so they can have a full belly. So as
People also
always,
appreciate it.
yes, buy your tickets. We will see you at the theater, and there is no excuse
For
for
a
a
missed
missed or late cue.